diamond's clarity pertains to the existence of diamond carbon, what we refer to as flaws in the stone. Now, the diamond carbon, most diamonds, except for stones being flawless or internally flawless, are going to have some degree of diamond carbon inside of them. The question becomes, to what extent, where are those carbon flaws located, and what nature do they take on? So the clarity scale varies from stones which are in the general category. I'm not going to go into every one of the clarity ratings, which will actually be discussed later in this segment, will actually be viewed later in this segment. But the clarity scale breaks down into the flawless range, the VVS range, which stands for very, very slightly included, categories 1 and 2, and then to the very slightly included range, VS1 and VS2, then lower to the SI range, which is a slightly included range, and then eventually at the included range.
A flawless stone is a diamond without any blemishes or inclusions. You can currently see a picture of a flawless stone under 10 power magnification, and the next picture that you will see is the diamond magnified at 30 times. The next clarity grouping would be VVS1 and VVS2. Stands for very, very slightly included levels 1 and 2. On both of these, it's very difficult to see inclusions under 10 power magnification. To really see the inclusions, you would need to see them at 30 times. When you look at the stone at 30 time magnification, what you can see is just a small pinpoint off to the side of the stone. If this were this is a picture of a VVS1 stone. If it were a VVS2 stone, that inclusion would probably be more centrally located. The next group of clarity grades is VS1 and VS2. These stand for very slightly included levels 1 and 2. In this group, minor inclusions are not visible to the unaided eye. They are also less expensive than VVS1 or VVS2 grades. When you look at this stone under a 30 power magnification, very slightly included shows, the red circle shows a fissure and a crown main facet that can be seen under the table. This inclusion will not be visible to the naked eye. On the image of the VS2 stone that is magnified by 30 times, this diamond exhibits 3 light crystals highlighted in the smaller red circles and a fissure, the diagonal white line at the 9 o'clock position under the table. These inclusions are also not visible to the naked eye. The next clarity grouping is SI1 and SI2. This stands for slightly included levels 1 and 2. These are stones where inclusions are visible under 10 power magnification, but not easily visible to the naked eye. When you look at the images of these stones under 30 power magnification, what you can see in the SI1 stone is that there is a white inclusion which can be seen under the table, but this inclusion would not be easily visible to the naked eye. When you look at the image of the SI2 stone magnified at 30 times, you can see 2 inclusions, both circled in red. One is a small cloud, and the other one is a small feather that are both under the table. These inclusions will also not be very easily visible to the naked eye. The next level of clarity is SI3. This stands for slightly included level 3. This is an internationally recognized clarity. Inclusions are visible under 10 power magnification and somewhat visible to the naked eye. In looking at the picture of the SI3 stone magnified at 30 times, what you see circled in red is a compact cloud under the table. This inclusion may be barely visible to the naked eye.
As it stands, most people would buy a stone somewhere between a VS1 and an SI2 but with a strong emphasis maybe placed more on SI1s than on SI2s because of the particular safety that is offered by having an SI1, which is just about going to be, like I said, 70 to 80% of the time eye clean. So how does clarity affect the purchase? Like I said, most people would want to get the eye clean stone, and that would suffice. And consequently, not very many people buy VVS1s and VVS2s because these are the kind of flaws that would require special instrumentation, the right lighting to even begin to see. And most people are not interested in spending the extra dollars attached to getting a stone of that nature. Um, on a Something else I'd want to discuss is that there's actually a misconception about what the different clarity markers are, what the different types of flaws are. And the thing is that we find that a lot of people tend to say that a cloud is not so good and a crystal would be better. And the fact is that the grading of a stone, be it a VS2, a VS1, whatever it may be, is very holistic. It takes into account what the nature of the flaws are, where are they located, what their color is. So you can have a very small cloud, which is essentially, a cloud would be a collection of very, very small crystals which come to form a range in the stone, which we refer to as a cloud. A crystal would be actually a diamond formation inside of the actual diamond crystal, the diamond that you're intending to purchase. A feather would be a geological crack, but a crack that was there for long before you were born. And then you have other kinds of inclusions called knots. You have inclusions called wisps, and they're variant forms of the carbon formation inside of the diamond. And like I said, the important thing to stress is that whatever the clarity rating might be, it takes into account what the nature of the flaw is, where the inclusions are located, and what color they have, so that it's possible to have a VS2, one VS2 that's better than another VS2 because, say, the VS2 on one had inclusions which were closer to the center versus ones which were more in the periphery of the stone. That is possible, but for the most part, for the great majority of the time, the grader already took that into account. He took into account that maybe that inclusion was closer to the center versus the inclusion that was off to the side, but the fact is that maybe the inclusion that's closer to the center is actually smaller and clearer or wider versus the inclusion that was off to the side on the other stone that was darker or larger. So that was all part and parcel of the stone's grading.